Welcome to No Movies in Hell. I'm Chris Geiger.
LaCroix Scott, and today we are reviewing Amsterdam.
Now, LaCroix, I like your sweater.
Thank you. I made it myself.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
And guess what? I have one for you.
The hell you say?
I keep on forgetting it, but I will have it for you on Tuesday. It is, and it's more like in the No Movies in Hell, red, black, and white.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's the surprise. Well, I was like, while you're in Korea, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make one for Chris, so that when we have to like change, you can.
Awesome. I feel like it's so hard to do. I mean, I can only make square or rectangular things. Let's be honest. Like, it's so hard to do like the arms and like the changing of the
Oh yeah,
in the pattern.
This is the first one I made too, like last year. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is like a cute, like, I don't know, just weekend,
Yeah.
Sweater.
Cozy.
Yeah, cozy.
Awesome. Well, thank you in advance.
We're all going like, I hope it fits. If not, like I'll make it work. But yes. Okay, back to Amsterdam.
Back to Amsterdam.
So going into this film, what were your first impressions?
Going in, I thought it was going to be very Coen Brothers-ish.
Like,
and that's what I was hoping.
Caper.
Caper, but kind of absurdist comedy thing, kind of like Fargo, maybe. So that's what I was hoping for, and the cast looked good, and I didn't really. It said I think in the trailer or something that I read that it was based on some true events, so it made me think of Fargo in that way. That's what I was hoping for going in. What about you?
I think same. I'm not. Let's see. So David O. Russell. I've seen American Hustle. I've seen Silver Linings. I guess I'm not like that big of a fan of Silver Linings Playbook. I thought American Hustle was okay. Like, I just think that like his other films are okay. And yes, I think this one more appealed to me because it seemed like it was a little sillier, a little like Coen Brothers-esque of like they're trying to solve something and like you never know what they're going to get into. That made me excited. And also, you don't really see Christian Bale in like a role where he is wearing a lot of, I mean, he's completely kind of out of character. Like, you don't see him in a comedy-esque. He's always like that serious guy or like very dramatic, with the exception of Batman and Terminator, which was surprising. And I didn't see that one. So wanted to see him in a different light, wanted to see what they were going to do with Margot Robbie. And for John David Washington, wanted to see what they would do with his character.
I like also like the cameos, right? Robert De Niro. I mean, that was more than a cameo, but Chris Rock's character was great.
Yes.
Taylor Swift, just wasn't buying it.
It was interesting. Like, that was the most weird and awkward scene like ever.
I know. You get such heavy hitters in there, right, with her, and it's just I get why they put her in because of the singing part, and it was such a short like thing, but even that that was painful to watch. Silver Linings Playbook I didn't see American Hustle, but my feeling about this movie is similar to that one, and that it was such a slow start. Like, we spent so much time building and building and building, and then the end was just like, oh, here's where all the fun stuff happens, and then it's over.
Yes.
So I don't know. That could just be his style. It seems like it is just on my limited exposure to him. But I would have appreciated like more action throughout.
No,
some action, right? Like,
chasing
and but
I agree. It was very much like they could have cut out so many things. Like some of, I guess, Christian Bale's character's backstory could have been like on hold. Yeah, I just think that kind of like the running around for certain things that weren't really applicable made it. I mean, the film wasn't that long, if I recall, but yeah, it just made it a little more kind of like, okay, so what is going to be the reveal?
Right. Well, let's go to the slides and we'll talk more about individual elements. So I was harder on this one than you were. I think because I was disappointed. Like I wanted it to be the Coen brothers haven't done a ton recently, and it seems like one of them doesn't want to do it anymore. So I can't remember if it's Ethan or Joel, but one of them has sort of walked away from it. And so like who is going to be the next Coen brothers? Like
Yeah.
and I was hoping this would be just like I was kind of hoping See How They Run would be
Yeah.
in that same line of quality caper, but absurdist comedy. And neither of them have really delivered on that. So I was sad about that.
I really feel like for the acting, Christian Bale is the one that like lifted it up a bit higher, and same with John David Washington. I was kind of disappointed with what they did with Margot Robbie's character because I kind of expected more. Um, she's Oscar nominated, like, and I feel like she fell into kind of an archetype of like the quirky nurse, but then running away, trying to, leave her problems, run away from it all, and nothing. It wasn't a very compelling character. In the beginning, I kind of figured out, what was going on with regard to plot, and it was just like, oh, this is kind of, it's not that much of a it's not a stretch of the imagination to have something kind of net new for a character like her, of her caliber. Like I've seen I, Tanya. She does like I think she's an incredible actress. Like I, Tanya, like Birds of Prey. She's like, I just felt like this was kind of like, try to be quirky in, the 1920s. Let's see how it goes. And I'm like, yeah, it just kind of fell flat.
I agree. I thought, you've got these heavy hitters in, but then you've made them sort of, and maybe that's not their fault, right? Maybe it's not an acting, maybe it shouldn't be a ding on acting. It should be a ding on character development because
Yeah.
I wanted more from Chris Rock's character. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
more from Anya Joy Taylor's
Yes.
character. I wanted more, like she was just, and I think she's great too.
Yes. Yeah.
And she was just kind of like the trophy wife, the trophy Aryan wife, right? Who says all the things that you expect her to say. I did
Yeah.
like Beatrice. I thought she was interesting, and
Yeah.
I
The
wish we could,
wife.
yeah, seen more from her. But then she also turned out to be very as you would expect. Or I did like at the end where they rolled the clip of De Niro side by side with the actual footage of that general making a speech.
Oh yes. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Maybe that was like the only truth to it being a true story.
Well, I did go back and try to, find an article that kind of fact checked it. And it
Yeah.
said there wasn't ever this like organization of the five,
Mm.
but that there were like major industrialists at the time who were focused on putting the market before anything else, right? And actually, the article that I found said that McCann Erickson was one of those companies, and I was like, oh wait, I
Oh, what?
yeah, like Ford and McCann Erickson, like big companies. But I was like, oh wait, that's sort of McCann Erickson adjacent right now. Like that's not great.
I mean, if you work for any gosh, if you work for any institute, publicly traded institution, there is a chance.
Right, right. Anything that's been around for over 100 years is bound to have some
Yes.
ness in it. So I did go back and find, and they said, that a lot of the stuff maybe was based on something that existed at some time, but they didn't all happen at the same time.
Yes,
So it was just like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, that would have been way too much of a coincidence. And like, yeah.
Right. And none of the main characters were actually real people. They were all sort of amalgams of people's experiences during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like the costumes. I thought they did a great job with production and making it look great.
Yes.
It just the the story fell flat for me, and the acting, I wanted more character development or more complex characters, I guess.
Or I guess to echo that, I would love more complex female characters.
Next time, David O. Russell. Next time, we'll give you another chance.
Next time.
Do you have anything to plug in this episode?
Nothing I can think of. Just thinking forward to more films to catch up on.
What are you excited about seeing coming up?
Decision to Leave. It's on my list. There's so many other ones. Like, when you see trailers for things and maybe once and then you like never see them again. Like, I'm trying to track down those ones of like, what did I see? And then like I just don't see anymore. Obviously getting ready for Halloween, all the going through the archives of what films did I, love, and all that, to get ready to rank our special Halloween episode.
Now because like a lot of people do this with Christmas movies, like every year they have to watch A Christmas Story and Elf.
Yes.
Are there, because you're such a horror movie fan, are there movies every year that when Halloween comes around you have to watch them?
Ooh, that's a great question. I feel like maybe it's The Nightmare Before Christmas because it's right in between.
Okay.
But I think it changes up definitely dependent upon my mood. But I do have to say a perennial favorite that's not necessarily scary, but that I probably watch every year since I was a child was The Craft.
Okay. Now, are you planning to see Halloween Ends?
Yes.
What about Smile?
Maybe if it's still around. Like I have other friends who love horror. They actually like that film and recommend it. It might be on the list, but at the same time, I'm like, if there's anything else that I don't need to watch, then maybe yeah.
Okay.
How about you? I know you're not a horror person.
I'm not.
But is there something that you maybe watch or you're just like, no?
So there's nothing that I watch annually, and in fact, I don't really even do it around Christmas either. Maybe if like The Grinch is on or something.
Yes, it's just like on loop.
Yeah. Or A Christmas Story. I would also like have that on in the background. I do like Scrooged though. But for Halloween, there's not really one that I gravitate to, but there are like movies that are pop culture that from like when I was younger that I really liked back then. And in fact, one of them is playing this weekend. Two of them are playing this weekend as like fan favorites through AMC. One of them is The Lost Boys.
Yes, I love that movie.
And that was when I was however old I was when that came out, like kid, teenager. I love that movie. I don't think I've seen it in probably at least 25, 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've never seen it on the big screen. I only saw it on TV. So I'm excited to go see it in the theater this weekend. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Ooh. I also saw when I was younger, and that is playing this weekend as well. Classic Gary Oldman. Yes. I mean, that was Lost Boys is fun because it's campy and it's
the Coreys,
yeah. Kiefer Sutherland's great in it. Like, but Bram Stoker's Dracula is a good movie. Like it's beautifully like shot.
Classic.
Yeah, like Gary Oldman is amazing in it. Yeah, like you've got Keanu and Winona favorites, right? So I'm definitely gonna try to make time to see that this weekend too. So yeah, they're just those like classic Halloween movies that are worth going to see in the theater if you've never gotten that chance. I don't think I'll make it an annual thing. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said 100% agree.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.